Pfeiffer's parents just found out their 23-year-old daughter is dating a 43-year-old man with 2 kids on national television. And the first thing they said when they saw him was that he looked way too young to be that age. And when you find out what happened after those first polite 5 minutes and how that conversation really went, you are going to lose your mind. Okay, so here is everything we are covering in today's episodes 6 and 7 breakdown. I am going through every single couple's family meeting. I am giving you the full breakdown on Pfeifer and Derrick, and why their story is honestly the most complicated one on this entire show right now. I am talking about Teresa and John, and the moment her kids had to sit across from a man their own age that their mom is dating. And I am giving you my full hot take on which couple is actually going to make it to the finale, and which ones are already on borrowed time. If you are new here, subscribe right now because we are recapping Age of Attraction every single week, and these episodes just dropped today on Netflix. Let's get into it. So first, for anyone who is just joining us, here is the 30-second version of what Age of Attraction actually is. Netflix took 40 singles, ranging in age from 22 to 60, put them all in a gorgeous mountain retreat in what looks like British Columbia, let them fall for each other completely blind to anyone's actual age. And then, when 2 people decided they wanted to keep going, they walked into what the show calls the promise room, revealed their real ages to each other, and decided right then and there whether to continue into the real world as a couple. 5 couples made it out of that promise room and into the cohabitation phase, where they are now living together, meeting each other's families, and figuring out if what felt real in that retreat holds up when the rest of the world gets involved. The couples going into episodes 6 and 7 are Pfeifer 23 and Derrick 43 with a 20-year age gap. Teresa 54 and John 27 with a 27-year age gap. Libby 22 and Andrew 38 with a 16-year age gap. Leah 41 and Chris 26 with a 15-year age gap. And Vanessa 49 and Logan 29 with a 20-year age gap. And Vanelle and Jorge, who had the show's biggest 33-year age gap already, quit the experiment back in episode 5 after a genuinely explosive argument that involved a scary encounter on the street, Jorge hiding the fact that he had kids, and Vanelle's celibacy becoming a whole conversation. They are gone. Bye! But wait, it gets so much worse for some of these other couples. Stay with me. Because here's what episodes 6 and 7 are actually about. The family visits, which on paper sounds sweet and wholesome, and in reality is the single most pressure-filled situation you can put these couples in. Because up until now, they have been living in a controlled environment where everyone around them is also in an age gap relationship. Everyone around them gets it. Nobody is judging. Nobody is asking hard questions over a dinner table. And now they have to take this person home and look their actual family in the face and say, yes, I know what you are thinking, and yes, I am doing this anyway. And the couple everyone was watching for was obviously Pfeifer and Derrick. Okay, I need you to focus because this part changes everything we thought we knew about how smooth this couple actually is. Because in the promise room, Pfeifer and Derrick were great. Their chemistry was undeniable from their very first speed date. Derrick is 43, but he genuinely does not read as 43 in the way people expect. He is high energy, he is into concerts and the gym and traveling. He leads what he describes as a very full lifestyle. And Pfeifer, who is 23, is wise beyond her years in a way that multiple recaps have noted. She is not a typical 23-year-old. She spent a year working on herself before joining this show. She knew exactly what she wanted. She said in her cast intro that men her own age are like furniture you have to assemble, and she is done with furniture projects. She wanted someone already built, Derrick was exactly that. Their conversations about family, about relocation, about his two sons who are 5 and 15, were honest and intentional from the jump. They put on their promise rings and walked out of that room looking like a couple who had been together for years. And then, Pfeifer had to introduce him to her parents. The Netflix sneak peek that dropped before these episodes showed the initial moment of the introduction. Pfeifer tells her parents the age gap. Derrick confirms he is 43. And her parents' immediate reaction was to say, he looks much younger than his age. Which sounds complimentary, and it was, in that first moment. But that is always how these things start. The first 5 minutes are polite. It is everything that comes after that tells you the truth. And this is where I want to give you the context that makes this conversation so much heavier than it looks on the surface. Derrick's older son is 15. Pfeifer is 23. There is an 8-year gap between Pfeifer and Derrick's teenager. That is not just an age gap conversation between Pfeifer and Derrick anymore. That is a conversation about what it means to be a potential stepmother figure to a kid who is barely a decade younger than you. That is a conversation about what Derrick's sons call her, what her role in their lives looks like. Whether a 23-year-old graphic designer who describes herself as a whirlwind of fun is actually ready to step into that world. And her parents know it. Parents always know it. We are not even at the craziest part yet. Keep watching. Because while Pfeifer and Derrick's family visit was the headline, the couple who quietly delivered one of the most emotionally heavy moments of these episodes was Teresa and John. And I need to talk about them because I do not think they are getting enough attention in the wider conversation about this show. Teresa is 54. John is 27. She is literally double his age, and throughout the first 5 episodes, their connection has been one of the most surprisingly genuine things on the show. Teresa has this warmth and this energy that reads about 15 years younger than she actually is, and John is mature and calm in a way that reads older than 27. They have made it work in the bubble, but Teresa has been quietly dreading the family visit since episode 2. Because here's the thing about Teresa's situation that is completely different from everyone else's. Her children are around John's age. Sit with that for a second. She has to look her kids in the eye and introduce them to a man she is romantically involved with who is their peer. Not their generation in a loose cultural sense, their literal peer. Someone they could have gone to high school with. Someone who might have classes with their friends. And John has to sit across from those kids and find a way to be present and real without it being impossibly awkward for everyone at that table. I know. But wait, there is one more thing. Because on the other side of the family visit coin, you have Andrew and Libby, where the age dynamic flips, and it is Libby at 22 who is being assessed by Andrew's family as a potential stepmother to his 2 daughters. Andrew is 38. His oldest daughter is 14. Libby is 22. His daughter is 14. That gap between the potential stepmother and the child is 8 years, same as Pfeifer and Derrick's older son. Different couple, same impossible math. And Andrew has been very open since episode 1 that what he is really looking for is not just a partner for him. He needs someone who is going to show up for his girls. That is his whole thing. And the question his family is going to be asking Libby is not, do you like Andrew? It is, are you actually ready for this? Real quick, if you are still here, drop a comment, because what I am about to get into is going to make you see this whole show differently. Because here's the thing that these episodes are really about, underneath all the family drama and the awkward dinner tables. Every single couple on this show passed the easy part. The easy part is falling for someone when age is removed from the equation and you are both in a beautiful setting with no outside pressure and nothing but time to get to know each other. Of course that works. Of course chemistry happens. Of course you feel connected. The experiment worked for that part. Every couple proved the show's premise in the promise room. What these episodes are testing is something completely different. They are testing whether the love that formed in a vacuum can survive contact with the real world. With parents who have opinions. With kids who have feelings. With family members who are going to ask the questions out loud that the couple has maybe been quietly avoiding asking each other. And that is where you find out if what you built is actually real. And here is my honest hot take that is going to split this comment section completely in half. Pfeifer and Derrick are the couple most likely to actually make it. And I say that knowing full well how that sounds given everything I just laid out. Here is why. They are the only couple on this show where both people came in with the same level of clarity about what they wanted. Pfeifer knew she did not want someone her age. Derrick knew he wanted someone who matched his energy. They were not surprised by each other's baggage. They leaned into it. The conversation about his kids, about relocation, about what their future looks like was not a post-experiment conversation for them. They had it in the experiment, before the promise room. That foundation is stronger than it looks from the outside. Compare that to Libby and Andrew, where Libby is 22 and there is still a real open question about whether she has the emotional maturity for the life Andrew is actually living. Or Vanessa and Logan, where those two have been fighting about space and communication and pace since they moved in together. And it is increasingly clear that their issues have nothing to do with age and everything to do with fundamental incompatibility. Leah and Chris are the dark horse couple that nobody is talking about enough. Their 15-year gap is the smallest on the show, and their dynamic has been the quietest and the most real. They are not performing for the camera the way some of these other couples are. They are just two people who actually like each other, trying to figure out if that is enough. And the family visit for them might be the most straightforward one of the whole episode drop. Tell me in the comments, are you Team Pfeifer and Derrick making it to the finale? Or do you think the real-world pressure is going to crack them before the last episode? I am genuinely divided, and I want to know where you all stand. Okay, here is where we land. Episodes 6 and 7 of Age of Attraction took everything this show set up in the first 5 episodes and stress-tested it in the most real way possible. The couples are out of the bubble. They are living together. They are sitting at family dinner tables. They are watching the people they love react in real time to choices that probably looked confusing from the outside. And every single conversation happening at those tables is a version of the same question. Was what you felt in that mountain retreat real enough to survive everything that comes next? The finale drops March 25th, 1 week. And based on where these couples all landed in this episode drop, I genuinely do not know how some of these stories end. Which, for a reality dating show that has only been out for 1 week, is honestly high praise. If you are watching Age of Attraction and you want to scream about it with someone, drop a comment. I am reading every single one. Like this video if the recap helped, subscribe and hit the bell for the finale breakdown next week, and I will see you then.